For teacher read aloud today, I'm going to practice intonation. Intonation of how you read aloud describes rising and the falling pattern of your speech. It will depend on punctuation, like commas, periods, and question marks. Just like when we read a question or when we're asking something, our voices kind of go up when we're asking a question. All right, so listen for the intonation in the story. Today I'm going to read you Seal's story. I am a fine and noble cat. I'm not fancy, but I do cut a pretty figure. My gray coat slick and shiny, my white feet nimble and dainty. I live with Sarah in a place by the sea. I spend my days patrolling the rough dune grass, searching for mice and tiny crabs. I am a cat that lives by the sea, which is why Sarah calls me Seal, after the ocean creatures that dives and plays in the surf. However, I do believe that cats are far more dignified than any seal. It's quite unfortunate that most people do not recognize our true nature. They engage us in silly games of fetch and tease us with balls of yarn to be batted around. For the most part, we go along with it. Cats are not foolish creatures. We know that our easiest meal of the day comes from pleasing the people we allow to live with us. Then the day came that changed everything. While the bees were buzzing outside, Sarah was busy packing a cloth bag full of her things. I walked around and around the bag. I even curled up on her clothes while she packed around me. She laughed and shooed me away, but despite her good humor, I was concerned. There was something going on, and I had a sinking feeling that I wasn't going to like it. Never doubt a cat's intuition. When we have a feeling about something, we are usually correct. For not only was Sarah packing her things in a bag, horror of horrors, she packed me into a small black case as well. I hissed, I howled, but all Sarah did was coo to me to be sweet and stay quiet and still. Oh, this was an outrageous turn of events. What happened next was worse still. Sarah took me onto something that she called a train. It was a horrible, smelly, noisy thing that clattered and thumped and rocked and swayed, started and stopped. A train ride is not pleasant transportation for a cat. Finally, after so many days I lost count, we left the train, and a big man took my case and put it in the back of a wagon. As the wagon pulled away, I smelled something wild in the air, and I heard the rustle of tall grass. For the first time since I had been imprisoned in that awful case, I felt the stirrings of hope. After a short ride, we stopped somewhere in the country. Sarah got out and lifted my case from the back of the wagon. I heard dogs barking, and when Sarah opened my case, I saw the two dogs. We sniffed at each other and eyed each other. Finally, they laid down and welcomed me to their home. There was a boy and a girl, too. There was a barn and a windmill, and there were prairie fields and field mice. Miles and miles of fields with mice. I thought, if this was our new home, then I just may be a content cat once again. Now I'm going to ask you some questions and check your comprehension of the story that I just read you. Feel free to pause the video and come back to it once you've had a chance to discuss and have a conversation with your learning adult. So, who is the narrator of Seal's story? What can you conclude about Seal's character? And explain. Seal says that for the first time since she went into the case, she feels the stirrings of hope. What led to her new hopefulness? Seal says that the day came that changed everything. What happens and what is the effect of that day?